For many parents, the California family court system is supposed to protect children and have the best interests for children. Now in Orange County, families say that that very process instead changed their lives in ways they never expected. I'm joined today with three parents that share their story and have similar stories, particularly about Dr. Reinhart, with proof and evidence attached today. Starting with you, Ken, just share your story and how you got involved in the court system.
Sure. My name's Ken, or Kenneth Jones. I got involved with the court system going through a long-term divorce. I met these other amazing people through Yelp on a review of all things, and it continued from there.
How about for you, Kira?
We did all meet a couple years ago through Yelp, and this is just a very small group. There are actually quite a few victims. There are numerous victims, and we discovered that Dr. Reinhart was committing criminal fraud against all the families. As we started to discuss our stories, there was a lot of crossover, things like soliciting cash bribes, fraudulently taking psychological exams on behalf of the parents, and I was able to, in fact, through subpoenas, able to figure out how, in fact, she was manually taking the tests for the parents in order to support her fraudulent reports.
We will be getting back to that for sure, because I would like to know how that raised concerns for all of you guys and how you found the evidence. And explain who you are, Josh.
I'm Josh Meador, and I had the misfortune of having to fight for my children in the family court system as well.
Kira, going back to you, when you saw that there were some concerns in the courts, what led you to dig deeper and how you guys all connected on that then?
What actually caused me to dig deeper was back in 2023 when I first read my 730 evaluation. It was complete fraud, but if you're a parent fighting for your child going against the court system, they're not going to believe me, they're going to believe them. So we in fact had to subpoena the testing results. And when I saw the results, I thought, I must have no understanding of who I am, because none of this makes any sense. It said I was delusional, an alcoholic, just many things that didn't make an ounce of sense. And that's when I started to dig deeper to uncover the fraud.
Both of you guys are even nodding your head as if you experienced the same thing. Whoever wants to go first, just expand on where that.
Gosh, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as Kira touched on, it's an eye-opening, frightening moment when you get this report back, and it's painting you out to be this incapable person for your children, and then seeing like, wait, this didn't happen, this isn't true, like just all of it based on unproven or unfounded lies. And then after talking and finding the other parents and comparing notes and experiences, and then realizing, oh, there's tests that we didn't take, that we never took, that is being used against us. And then that's when we kind of started figuring things out.
Do you have anything to say?
So I'm slightly different. Reinhart did not take or do the evaluation for me, the 730, but she did the review in front of the court. She is also the assigned child psychologist for my son. So there's a serious conflict of interest with that as well. But she did so many different things to essentially ruin the relationship between my son and I. Even talking about parental time in front of my son and trying to get a rise out of me when I explained to her that's not appropriate and this needs to be talked about privately, right? And then other things. So I can go on and on. It's been a long-term nightmare.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. It seems that when you do speak up, you almost get in more trouble. I'm sure
Yes.
You may have a story, or one of you want to expand on that.
Well, we're not allowed to share the report once you get it. We pay $15,000, $30,000 for this report to be created, and then you're instantly forbidden to share it or discuss it with anybody. So,
Right.
Sorry. Go.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that as soon as I started speaking up, it essentially puts a target on your back. I was arrested in April and spent 3 days in jail for trying to wish my son a happy birthday. So it just progressively gets worse. And I did not lose my son because of the fraudulent test. I lost my son trying to expose the fraud. I had 50-50 custody, and a lot of people have asked me, why did you keep fighting? There was no reason to. You had 50-50 custody, and I said no. We have to vindicate the hundreds of families that have been harmed. So I kept speaking up, and to silence me, they took my son.
May I ask, where does that stand now today regarding you being arrested?
Yes, I'm defending myself in criminal court at Harbor Justice, facing misdemeanor charges, 1 year incarceration. And I did sign the Feretta waiver, which is to defend myself because no public defender is going to do what I intend to do in criminal court. And that is to prove that my order is void.
Now, share that you all have similar stories regarding Dr. Reinhart, and now you brought it to the courts. Where does that stand? What, do they believe you guys with the evidence that you brought to them?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely not. So I currently have a commissioner. My case has gone on so long that they're saying that I failed to pay over $100,000 to pay their lawyer fees, and now it's going quasi-criminal. So I could actually end up in jail because of family court. And yet I have a security clearance. I'm as clean as a whistle. So I don't do drugs. It's insane. When you talk to someone, it almost sounds like a fantasy. It's unbelievable until you really read the facts and start to realize this is happening in court, in family court. And the reason why is there's no cameras, there's no accountability, and so they're able to do whatever they want. And so currently, when I asked for a judge for my quasi-criminal case for this commissioner, he denied it and put me on mute the whole entire court time.
Tauli, to answer your question, do they believe you? Yes. They do believe us. I believe they 100% know that Dr. Taya Reinhart is absolutely guilty. There's no question about them believing us. They do believe us. We actually had Consumer Affairs. We opened an investigation with Consumer Affairs and had multiple investigators from Consumer Affairs spend just about a year investigating Dr. Reinhart. Now, Dr. Reinhart said, I will not comply with this. I will not help with your investigation whatsoever. Well, obviously, because she's guilty. And Consumer Affairs pursued it. And in fact, after 4 months with the BOP, they signed, the expert at the BOP signed off on it, the finalized report, and it was sent for criminal referral to the Orange County District Attorney's Office on February 9th. And at first, they didn't know where to put it. It was, do we put this with the fraud unit? Do we put this with consumer? They couldn't figure out which unit to put it. It finally wound up with the SPU, which is the Special Prosecutions Unit, and it sat under the review of Kyle Mulchan, District Attorney Kyle Mulchan, and investigator Michael McAlpine, who reviewed it from February 9th. They sent it back to Consumer Affairs to obtain more details about the fraud, and then Todd Spitzer met with Kyle Mulchan in June, and they went over all the details, and it was clear that the crimes had been committed. It's an incredible amount of fraud, not just testing fraud, soliciting cash bribes. Actually, a pedophile, in fact, was given 100% custody by Dr. Reinhart, and so on. So it's they realized what liability it would be for the state of California and, of course, the county of Orange, and they decided not to move forward with prosecution. So I received a call from Kyle Mulchan on June 17th, and they said, unfortunately, we cannot move forward with this prosecution. And I said, well, you know that she's guilty, and they didn't deny it. And I said, I understand this is not from you, it is from Mr. Spitzer, and he's not allowing you to move forward. And they sat quiet, and they didn't disagree. And I said, well, I'm going to continue to pursue this with the FBI and the DOJ.
I was just going to say, as a mom, and we've got dads here, how frustrated, how angry, and you just said that you are going to continue to move forward. So what's next?
So you come to this realization, right, you guys, that like these agencies and systems are in place to protect the children, to decide the best interest of a child or children that's involved in these cases. And they are intentionally failing these processes when fraud and shortcomings such as this or criminal activity by the players involved in these cases are revealed, then they all work together to protect and sweep it under the rug, you know? So it becomes this just, eye-opening, just gut-wrenching realization that these agencies are actually part of the problem, and they're working together to make sure it stays that way.
Do you want
It's the other side of this that people may not see on the other side of the camera is what it does to you as a person. It absolutely shreds your life completely. You become a shell of the person that you previously were. Number one, to lose a son or daughter is one thing. But then to have the court, and you think, okay, justice is going to come around, things will get better. And to have it go completely off the rails, and it's a nightmare you're not waking up from. And it just gets worse. From everything from relationships that you have, to just focusing on being who you are, what you used to be.
Yeah, to even perform your job,
Yes.
right? Like to do those daily tasks that were once,
Yes.
part of our lives, it's become impossible.
Yeah. Trying to get a decent sleep at night and not think,
Yeah.
okay, what could I have done differently? And going everything over in your head all over again and then reliving the experience of what happened. It's literally a nightmare that you do not wake up from.
Yeah, you end up mourning a child that's still alive. You know,
Correct.
it's a horrible nightmare.
And with that, the other part of this is not just the mourning of the child, but in my case, I had a severe case of parental alienation. It got so bad to where my ex was putting so much pressure on my son that he was ready to commit suicide. He said that to his mom and to the school. It got to the point where he said, "Dad, I don't want you in my life anymore." I don't know what son or what daughter does that, or any child, right? And when you study it, it's really sad that that's not recognized, just like Munchausen by proxy. So, yes. It literally destroys your life. And like all of us are saying, you expect the DA or Department of Consumer Affairs or the Board of Psychology to really do something, because that's what they're there for, right? You expect that justice to come around. There might have been one mistake here or one mistake here, but when all of them fail consistently, and then when you start to talk to other parents, and not just us, but multiples, and you start to see a pattern of behavior, then you start to realize, oh, wait, maybe there's another motive. And when you dig in deeper, you start to see, like, wait, this is profitable for them on the back end.
Yeah.
It really is sickening, and it makes you nauseous. And then when you find out that there's a pedophile that is also tied in with Reinhart, and you start to realize, well, why aren't they presenting this evidence or this other information to go through and combat this, right? Or have it presented in trial? It really changes your opinion of the world and your logic, even though I like to be positive and think that human species are going to do good, but this destroys you and makes you think differently. It changes you from the inside out.
You mentioned positivity, and that's what I was almost going to say. I guess this is the silver line here of you guys all banding together and going and batting for your children every day and not stopping. So what's next? Obviously, we got shut down, it sounds like, but the game's not over for you guys, and the fight is still happening.
Well, look at Josh. Josh has his children. I commend him as a parent that actually is still fighting this, even though he has his children.
Yes.
He is an amazing father.
Thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, no, I'm afraid to oftentimes to be a part of this and continue trying to expose what's going on, because the fear is there that they could figure out a way to try and take the kids away. But yeah, I'm one of the lucky parents where ultimately the judge gave Dr. Reinhart's report in my case a 0 weight. And we're aware of other cases too where she's been caught colluding with opposing counsel, that she's been removed. I have some documents here that support that. You know, she had a mom in another case where she was colluding and caught performing these crimes within the case. She had NDA signed to protect those crimes. And so I have the documentation from that case.
Feel free to share.
But do you want me to read them?
If you'd like to share,
let's
and
do
you're
that.
comfortable with that.
Thank you very much. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me
Well, in the
pull this
meantime, though,
up.
Kira, we had talked about there's families that just won't even speak on this because they're too scared. Expand on that, just some of the parents that, like you even said, Ken, that have lost their life in a sense of they're now a shell. They don't even want to come out and talk.
It will drive you to suicide if you don't have the strength. That's how bad it is. And my mom doesn't know how I'm existing. She doesn't, and I talk to her every day.
Other parents are afraid of retaliation is the bottom line. And you did ask what's next. In my criminal case, because it's called a collateral attack, it means you go from one forum to a different courthouse. So because I'm now in criminal court and the criminals are are treated much better than in family court. There's actually laws in criminal court and protection for defendants. It's
Just crazy.
It's the best thing that could have ever happened to my family case is getting arrested.
Wow.
And that's how bad it is. But I'm going to file a motion to compel because Mr. Spitzer wants to bury all of the evidence. But now that I'm in criminal court, there's something called Brady versus Maryland. And we don't have those rights in family court, but in criminal court, as a defendant, if you're facing incarceration, as I am, you're able to subpoena all kinds of evidence to vindicate yourself. And so under Brady versus Maryland, I'm filing a motion to compel to release the Dr. Reinhart records because the SPU and Todd Spitzer has said, we are not releasing this to you. So much that they even called Consumer Affairs. And I was told by Consumer Affairs, everyone knows you're looking for this report. And so they've all discussed it, but in criminal court, I think I'll be able to get it. And I have Judge Prickett. He is the judge in criminal court, and he's excellent. Amazing. And I am expecting on July 16th, when I go in for my arraignment, to have the motion to compel and have Judge Prickett release those records for in-camera review and hopefully to the public.
Blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
It's a huge win.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have the FOA here. I'm just going to read a little bit
Sure,
of this
of
off
course.
here. Let's see here. Dr. Reinhart did not follow transcripts, including the order in this case, did not follow detailed scope of the evaluation as set forth by the case, references the case, did not provide explanation of supporting data for statements regarding this child in this particular case. Dr. Reinhart was impeached regarding her statements that the respondent would cooperate with additional interviews. Some of Dr. Reinhart's opinions, respondents, was based on gossip, unidentified professionals from the school in this case. Let's see here. Dr. Reinhart included inappropriate statements regarding incidents involved in this case that conflict with testimony and the petitioner's testimony. Let's see here. I got a few more things. Ultimately, Dr. Reinhart, sorry, you guys.
Well, if I could just ask you guys, I see you all nodding your heads again. It's just wild that it's yet another parent experiencing the same thing.
There are many of us. There are many of us. And again, they're afraid for retaliation, which is why they're not here today, because the judges and the attorneys and the minors counsel and the therapists and all of them are working together. And when you first go into family court, you think, it's embarrassing now to think back that I was so naive, but I said, well, this is not a problem. I don't need an attorney. I'm just going to go in and tell the truth. Mm-hmm. Everybody laughs at that now because that's going in and telling the truth does not work in family court. And the other thing that you start to realize is, we all hear the phrase, you can't comply your way out of tyranny. And that becomes true in family court. And it's almost like every time you think, oh, this is it. I'm vindicated. I'm shown what a good parent I am. It gets worse and worse. And there's a lot of strategy that's a part of the scam. It is minors counsel, psychological evaluations, monitored visits, reunification therapy. All of it.
Yeah.
And you're
More money, it sounds like.
You're
in the
hundreds of
system.
thousands of dollars in, taking psych eval after psych eval, trying to prove that you're sane and a good parent, and it just gets worse and worse. And all of a sudden you wind up in contempt and you wind up in criminal court.
And you wind up broke and homeless.
Completely. You lose your home, you lose your job, you're dysfunctional. Yeah. It's syndicated terrorism is what it is.
Absolutely. So I did find some really more important key points here in this case. Dr. Reinhart's ex parte communications and working with the petitioner's counsel support the underlying bias during this evaluation. Hello, right? Let's see here. The court's review. The court finds that Dr. Reinhart used petitioner's counsel to prepare a self-serving declaration for her with confidential information, including opinions regarding respondent that were not in the report after it was offered to the court. So this is a case that was going on prior to her being involved in our cases. The big questions are with this, why didn't the county of Orange immediately remove her? Why didn't the Board of Psychology of California immediately take action and investigate her, hold her license, suspend her license until investigation was completed? We're talking about children's lives and families, and this is of paramount importance. And everybody just allowed this to continue and allowed her to be involved in our cases after this and cases up till recently. So, and it cost me a couple $100,000. I lost everything that I've ever worked for, family home for our children, fighting her false report against me.
And to Josh's point, Jonathan Burke, which we all have a lot to say about Mr. Burke, he is the chairman of the BOP up in Northern California. There have been countless complaints against Dr. Reinhart and many other evaluators, and it's all swept under the rug. Jonathan Burke oversees this, and he does nothing about it.
Yeah.
And we believe that they know exactly what's going on.
They absolutely do.
They just don't care because it's very profitable. It's very lucrative.
And in many of the emails that we have from Jonathan Burke, goodness, he's cold and callous and very just like, you can tell it's almost like a joke. They have the power. Their organization doesn't have to do anything. I wanted to say in that case that I just referenced, the FOAH, I believe the document's called that I read off. Julie Palafox was the judge in that case.
The name we know.
I think a lot. I've heard it somewhere.
You recognize that name?
But she was the judge presiding over this case. Where Dr. Reinhart was found colluding with opposing counsel and reprimanded. So, in my case, I had Israel Claustro, he ultimately ruled and gave 0 weight in my case to Dr. Reinhart's report, and furthermore ordered her to pay back half of the $15,000 fee in our case, which is a nice start, but however, the massive amounts of damage that was done fighting that report, it still plays out to this day with my kids' lives.
Well, I appreciate you guys feeling comfortable and safe enough to share with us what is going on here with California Family Law Naked Truth. But is there anything else that you guys would like to add or expand on before we wrap this up?
I want to thank all of you for doing this. It's very difficult to get the word out, and it'd be nice to have other parents know this or what they're getting into. If I had seen something like this before I got into family court, that'd prepare me for what I was up against. I would have taken a different direction, right? I do appreciate this.
Thank you. I do also want to thank you, Tauli, for being willing to expose this, because most of the media, they will not. The media refuses. And of course, California Family Courtney.
It's okay. California Family Law Naked.
It's a mouthful.
Thank you. I get it.
Absolutely. And just Christine, the work that she's doing and selflessly to help so many families, and as well as going to court and putting pressure on these judges to do the right thing. We appreciate you so much, because the bottom line of family court is they have figured out it is a multi-billion-dollar business, and a parent will go homeless and spend every last dime to fight for their children, and that is how they realized it's so lucrative. So everybody involved knows that it's just a great moneymaker. If you take someone's child away, it's extremely lucrative, and that's what family court is. It is a billion-dollar business.
Yeah, I would say that it's super important, that we thank California Naked Law Truth and what they're doing here to expose and kind of uncover this and using their resources so we can tell our story. I want parents out there to understand, if you haven't came forward, we need to come forward together. We need to get loud. We need to put, whether it's a father or mother aside, the sexes aside, we need to put politics aside, and we need accountability. We need to be strong. We need to stand together so we can make sure that this doesn't happen to any more families or any more children ever again, not just here in Orange County and the state of California, but across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You all are amazing and very strong.
Thank you so much. The only other thing I wanted to mention is when you lose your child, because the media does normally not report on this. People think that you must have done something wrong, and you get that all the time. Oh, but really, what happened? There must be more to the story, or you're not telling me everything. You can trust me, you can tell. And it's like, no, I wish there was more to the story. There's not. This is it. Good moms and great dads across the nation are having children ripped away for literally no reason. We're getting incarcerated for doing nothing. And it's very hard to explain this to people not in family court, because they think, well, if this was going on, it would be on the news. And it's not. It's getting buried.
As a journalist, I will try to push it now onto the news, but until then, we will have it on California Family Law, Naked Truth, social media. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.